Even a joke? I guess there's not.
All right, we are going live in five. Okay, we're live now. Never mind.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. It's good to be live, I suppose.
I should probably get the link for everybody
That would probably be a good idea. I'd stick it in the Discord.
so we can have some people watching before the Instagrams flood in
The Instagrams flood in.
because
Yeah,
they
that's true. I'm
they are
because
definitely
they
going
will.
to do that. Absolutely.
Definitely gonna get some. It's just a question of how many.
Like five. Oh, people are on Instagram. They're gonna have a really hard time keeping up the facade that they think I'm a woman when they start hearing my voice.
Is are there people who think you're a woman?
A lot of people think I'm a woman. Like they'll refer to me and they'll say she. I think it's just because there's a lot of girls in my comic.
I mean, I mostly write female characters too, but I've always done that.
They're easier to write. What can I say?
I don't know. I've felt more compelled to do it.
Yeah, it's practically
Here,
cheating.
Ashcat's just always here. Look at him.
What a what a what a guy. Everybody's naked in this drawing right now because I have not given them clothes.
I just noticed that when I looked over at Murdoch, I was like, "Oh boy, that's just a naked man's body."
Oh. Oh
Should
wow.
probably we should probably explain who each of us is, shouldn't we?
Yeah, this you are Brian Ellis, the writer and
Oh,
artist,
yes, yes.
and I am just a guy I kind of wandered in.
Wandered into the live stream.
Yeah. I don't know how I got the stream key, but I have it, and you can't take it away from me.
I don't know why I would, frankly. Like, who else is gonna be here? Honestly,
Bashcat's here from the Discord.
yeah, that's true. I guess we always have Bashcat at the very least.
He's like a old reliable Bashcat.
Old reliable.
I'm really hoping I can finish this big drawing in 2 hours, but we'll see. I don't want to be here for more than 2 hours because it gets a little long.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it's like to sit here and draw for 2 hours.
Oh,
Elderly reliable, as Bashcat refers to
oh,
himself.
beautiful. Oh, hey, we have 3 viewers, which means Bashcat plus 2 others.
Bashcat plus his two sock puppet accounts
Or just a sock puppets.
can be here for 16 hours. Me too, Bashcat. Me too. Um,
He likes the stream because he's not compelled to participate like he is with voice chat.
Bashcat? Yeah, well, of course. He can just sit here and throw rotten fruit at us while we sit here and talk.
Specifically, rotten fruit emoji.
Rotten fruit emoji. I do feel compelled to explain because there's probably some people in here who are like, "Who the fuck's this other guy? I didn't come here for this." I just
Like,
just to
we didn't we
just to
didn't
clarify
do that.
and actually introduce ourselves. So
Right.
maybe we should do that.
Yeah, I'll let you go first. I'm just the art guy here.
Yeah, it's literally your comic.
That's true.
Should probably start.
Oh, okay, that's what you meant. Okay, Brian Ellis, creator, writer, um, author of, and artist of Problem Child. Hello. Not very articulate.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Murray. I'm the editor. I I make sure Brian doesn't go whoopsie in his diaper.
I have a lot of ideas, and all of them are not great. So he tells me which ones are good.
You gotta have somebody to tell you when you have absolutely insane ideas.
Oh, he's heard some insane ones.
Mm. I don't just mean you in particular. I mean like writers in general. I mean I've had to have other people be like, "All right, so listen, you can't do that."
Because sometimes you'll think you like, oh my gosh, this is so daring. This is so innovative, and they're just like, what are you doing?
Daring, yeah, daring's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you have to have somebody whose entire job it is to like a lot of people think editors stomp on like creatives. I'm like, well, I mean, kinda.
It's well, I mean, they need to be stomped on sometimes.
Oh, that's so true though, isn't it? If you just let creative people do whatever the hell they want, they will fuck up everything good, every good idea they have.
Case in point, Hideo Kojima.
Oh God, Hideo Kojima. Like every now and again, you'll get like sometimes you'll get some really good shit, like Cave Story, where it was made by literally one guy in like his house for like story. It's like weird melodrama. It's like if Problem Child were like all the characters were big rabbits with giant heads and big eyes.
Whoa, no spoilers, man.
But that's literally what Cave Story is, and I'm just like, okay. I mean, this is good, but who the fuck? Why did nobody tell you not to do this?
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
answer. You didn't talk to another human being for 5 years.
Actually, I'm gonna put it in on the stream, that little drop, the little overlay thing. Brian ELlis, creator. You want your real name, Nicholas Murray?
Yeah, that's fine. And Murray's Murray.
AY. Ah, I got it. Okay. Editor. Okay.
Cool, cool. It's oh my god, it's Murdoch.
Ooh. Hold on. I have to approve Bash Cat's comment where he said, "This just in, you suck." Murdoch the Dilf. I don't know if this person is from the Discord, but they'd fit right in.
Yeah, I don't know if they're from the Discord either. Oh yeah, by the way, you guys are supposed to be asking questions, so like ask questions.
If you are so inclined, I'm not gonna force you to do anything.
I mean, you don't have to, but like it's kind of the whole reason. I mean, yeah, we're here for you guys to questions.
Well said.
Do you like fries with that, sir? Yes. Was it your intention to make Murdoch a Dilf?
I meant for him to be kind of a tough guy. The Dilf. I was actually pretty surprised that people were so attracted to him. I thought it was.
And he's kind of got that. He's kind of got that. You know, that like rugged handsomeness going on.
Rugged's the word. Yeah, I think. Was not my intention. Not against it though. I'm not against.
I mean, I don't know why you would be against it.
Well, I mean, in the sense that like I meant for Sanders' haircut to be horrible, but everybody loved it.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot that was supposed to like be horrific, and everyone was just like, "Wow, that's so much better."
She should be a hairstylist. I'm like, oh, that's not how I meant that, but okay.
The question is, do you correct them or do you just let it go?
Oh, I mean, most of the time, it's just better for everyone if I let it happen.
It's true.
Sometimes,
as a whale, wait, what?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna bash Cat's comments, which,
my
as usual, contributes nothing. So please go on.
That's like he does. Okay. I lost my train of thought. I think everybody loses if I take the wind out of people's sails.
Yeah, this is true. How come your comics are great? That's not a great question.
It's all an accident, to be perfectly honest.
I'd like to say me, but I've only been around since 230 something.
Has it even been that long?
It'd be like 250. No, 70. That's it.
270. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, it's been like 30 episodes.
Like if you guys knew just how barely held together this whole production is, whew. That's a joke. It's not that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just having fun writing it, and I guess it's turning out good, so I'm gonna keep going.
Okay, here's a legitimate, serious question that you might have an actual answer to.
Oh boy, okay. Intimidating.
How do you find time to make comics? It takes me like 2 hours to draw one person, and it frustrates me so much.
I have that same problem. I don't get a lot of sleep.
Yeah, it's true. You seem to have an iron will for drawing that I don't fully understand.
I don't really get it either. I'm glad it's there, though. I don't have much of a social life. I go to my job sometimes. I come home, and I draw.
Yeah, that's basically it at this point.
I wish I had a more exciting answer, but that's all I got, unfortunately.
I guess a lot of creativity is born from boredom. You just if you don't have a whole lot to do, you need to make up stuff to keep your mind occupied.
Yeah, I mean, that's how prison people don't go insane, I imagine.
I mean that and a lot of drugs. Okay, here's another question from this one from Bashcat. That's another good one for both of us.
Oh, okay.
What's your favorite episode of ProChi?
Oh, I'm gonna go with 242, the dream sequence one.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
that's
like,
right. I
I
was about
like.
to say, Elsie, don't just spit numbers, please. Nobody knows the numbers but you.
Yeah, I like the dream sequence one a lot.
The fact that you know the numbers is fucking amazing.
The more there are, the more I'm like, okay, so that's 150. That was close to the one where Scott's dad was introduced. What happened around then? I kind of just deduce it a little bit based on landmarks.
Based on landmarks of events that have happened.
Yep.
Let me see. I think my favorite ProChi episode. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't remember the number, but it's the one where Amber is still in the hospital, which doesn't narrow things down a lot, but where Daisy gives her the book and she writes the little poem in it, and Amber's very touched.
I want to say that's is that 142?
Let's see.
Let's head on over to that website or the Instagram page or something.
42 is Sandra smoking outside the hospital. Let me check 140.
Dang.
Let me check 141 and 143.
It's close to that then.
It's 141.
It's so close.
That one. I like that one a lot. It's very touching. And to answer your question, Bashcat, no, he doesn't actually know all the numbers. It's more backwards deduction.
Right.
I don't know.
Certain episodes I remember, like I know 230 is where Teddy was introduced. So I kind of
surprised you don't know the numbers for the hospital sequence, considering you spent God knows how many hours on those.
Hospital took so long to draw. I hated it every second.
Especially the ones that were all black and dark.
Oh yeah, but people really like that, so I don't really regret it.
I'm not saying you should regret it. I'm just saying, like, you guys have no idea. It was days where I would just be like, "Am I getting a new one? Have I been removed?"
And I'm just like, "Here's the episode." And you're like, "All this dialogue is garbage. Can we just?"
Most of the basic structure of the dialogue was fine. I think it was just pure exhaustion. You weren't like trying to be too artsy about it,
right? Which those episodes were probably the ones that required the most amount of heartsiness.
Yeah, those were the ones that required the most reworking. It's only because the basic structure was all there. It's just that the filling needed some work. Just because, I mean, I wouldn't. It doesn't surprise me because it's been days.
Context.
Like you spend days on one drawing.
It's true.
Okay, Bashcat. Which episode took the longest to make?
Oh, probably one of the moment of decision episodes.
Surprised it's not the dream sequence.
Dream sequence actually was really quick because there's not much background there. There's just gradients for the backgrounds. The perspective took a little while to get down, but it really didn't take all that long. I think episode 247 was the one that took the longest to draw. I really, if I got that right, that's going to be a hilarious joke. Otherwise, it's not going to make any sense.
Let me see. So, what is your opinion of Scott choosing Amber always over the deal? I was always curious. Didn't you do the exact opposite of that? Good question.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't. It's kind of ruins the fun if I tell you my how I think of those morally gray decisions.
Wait, did he choose Amber over the deal? I thought he did the opposite.
Choosing the deal would be for Amber. Would be him choosing Amber.
And he chose not the deal, so like not Amber.
I mean, that's how most people saw it. That's not how he saw it, but you know.
Well, I mean in terms of like the way that decision was laid out, that was the choice. At least that was the way it was
present
laid
the
out by
world.
his dad.
Right. It's kind of tricky. But yeah, if I give my opinion on that kind of thing, I mean the whole like part of the enjoyable part of it is your interpretation of those things. So knowing the writer's intent before it's all wrapped up ruins it a little bit, I think.
I would agree. Bashcat, has the story of the comic ever been influenced by the community? Yes, I'm right here. But okay, but seriously, has the community ever influenced the story beyond?
Throwaway lines that make people upset.
So basically, just pissing off shippers.
Um, well, I think I've based on audience reaction, I know what I did not explain well enough. So
It's
I'll
fair.
make an effort to go to address things that weren't explained well enough. I'll go back and mention something in a later episode to make that more clear. Um, I realized after not too long that a lot of the things that people weren't clear on were just like logistics. Like I remember one of the things I addressed was how Grandpa knew what room Amber was in. I realized
Did people focus on that?
they were like, I got a few comments on it, not too many, but enough that I noticed them.
It's a
And
little bizarre because of all the things to notice from that bit, I don't know if that is the one I would have.
there was plenty to notice, but I had him think of like like a way he would notice that, and I kind of realized after I'm like, it's not really that important. He noticed it. That's all that matters. Or like,
Yeah, it's a very bizarre. I'm still just like it's such a bizarre thing to notice.
right? Like, I don't know. It's not that important. He figured out a way. I mean, we only got 6 panels per episode.
True. Do you both have any favorite bands?
Bands. I have a
Music.
favorite music artist, but I don't think band.
Who's your favorite music artist?
Um, as controversial it is these days, I am a super fan of Michael Jackson.
I mean, his music was good. It's just you just
Let's
can't
not get
diddle
into
children.
that though.
It's unfortunate, really.
Let's not get into that though.
It's true.
I
Um,
We'll save that
for
for our
now.
next stream.
Oh yeah, big oof. Like the Arctic Monkeys.
I like the Rolling Stones a lot.
Wish I could say I knew enough Rolling Stones songs to agree or disagree, but I just don't.
I don't. I guess I don't really know all that many, but the ones I do know, I really like. I'm like I was raised in a religious Christian household where they thought all popular music was of the devil. So I didn't know there was real music until I was like 17.
Sometimes forget that was your upbringing.
Yeah, it's. But because of that, most of my music that's not from like a video game that I like is just from something like, oh, this song was in that movie that I really like.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I guess that'd be the only place you would hear them.
Right.
The on the off chance you actually get to go see a movie.
My little sister wasn't allowed to read Harry Potter growing up because J.K. Rowling was an atheist. So that's what I was dealing with.
See, that confuses me because it's not even the wizards and warlocks bullshit. It's the fact that the writer isn't Christian.
Yep. I'm not gonna. I don't even know. I don't know, man.
Christian upbringing equals problem child. I mean, yeah, in this case.
Not too far off.
No, we're not gonna. Okay. Theme songs for each character.
Um, I would say, like I said, I don't know probably as much music as the average person does. I think "Hurt" by Johnny Cash is good for Sandra.
By Johnny. Yeah, that's probably true.
It'll become more and more fitting as time goes on. Maybe.
Goof. Daisies would definitely be something like Revolution Number 9 by the Beatles, something that's just basically white noise and doesn't make any sense.
Well, like
Just her
Volume 1
personality.
Daisy.
Yeah, Volume 1 Daisy. I mean, current Daisy, I don't know. We haven't seen enough of her yet to do
Um,
that.
that song that goes like, "Hey, hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend" by Avril Lavigne.
And I guess, I mean, that's just her being jealous, though.
I know that's just a joke. I don't know.
I mean, that's probably going to be Daisy in like 4 volumes when she confesses her love for Amber.
Oh yeah, that's definitely happening.
Scott would be something classical because he wants to sound sophisticated.
Oh
Yeah, that's
yeah,
probably true.
yeah. I don't remember where I said this, but Scott always makes Amber listen to classic rock, and every time he turns it on, he says, "They don't make them like this anymore."
Yeah, no, that is most definitely a Scott thing. Scott's definitely the kind of guy who like has vinyl albums but has no method to listen to them.
Doesn't have a
Is that a turntable?
phonograph. What do they call those things?
Phonograph? A phonograph, like a record player?
Yeah, a record. There you go. I'm a.
Phonograph is like the big cone. Like it's like a big cone with metal indents
Oh,
on
I
it.
thought that was just the fancy name for it. Whoops.
No, I mean it might be. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's the big thing. The cone with the little metal indents on it, though. Um,
I thought that was just the proper term for it that no one ever uses, but it's technically correct.
the phonograph. Um, I'm not saying any more questions. Is that all the curiosity the community has?
Yeah, I mean that's we got 8 viewers, so yeah,
Scott thinks ROM hacks are illegal. We're-
Oh my god.
Who are you talking to? Okay, T-Tog Productions, as we went over this earlier, but you weren't here, so that's all right. Of course, who you know, and I'm Nick. I edit the comic.
He tells me which ideas are bad, and most of them are.
I wouldn't go that far.
Fair amount of them are.
What type of tablet do you use?
I use an XP10 Artist 10S. It is a piece of crap, but it was cheap, and it lets me draw on the screen, and that's all I need.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be real honest with you. I've tried drawing with drawing with a mouse is awful. I cannot imagine how much better it is drawing on a tablet with like a pen.
Oh yeah, no, it's a lot better. It's different. With the mouse, like whatever brush strokes you do or whatever, you usually get it done on the first try, because you just have a lot more control but with tablets, you're redoing the same line over and over again until you get the right thickness on the line and the right curvature, and it's a whole thing. So, I mean, there are pros and cons. Obviously, there's probably more pros to a tablet pen, but there are some cons in comparison to like a mouse.
I mean, I guess there's got to be more pros because everybody uses them.
It's because we're all spoiled little brats who, I can't do art on the computer unless I can do it like I do on the paper. Unbelievable.
Have you given any thought to someone getting a dog and killing off said dog to get a good shock scare?
What?
I mean, he already killed a guy, so I feel like we already tried that.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody, they kind of forgotten about that one. I don't think anybody's mentioned that since.
To be fair, it didn't have any obvious connection to anything else yet,
Oh,
so
yeah, no,
I guess
that was
everybody
a
forgot
joke.
about
Everybody keeps talking about it. Every time there's a new character introduced in the flashback, they're like, "This is the guy that got killed. This is the guy that got killed."
it. This is the guy that Sandra murked.
Yeah. Allegedly, we don't know. We don't know what happened. I think the biggest problem with the stream here is I'm gonna have to have a hard time keeping the lid on spoilers.
This is true. You're very spoiler prone.
On the Discord live voice chat. Oh boy, it can get
real
bad
bad.
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, list of fake spoilers that one time you got drunk on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
That would have been real bad.
I should have made another one for this because, oh boy.
Might not have been a bad idea. Have you ever gotten frustrated because you can't draw something right, so you make it look stupid to make yourself laugh a little and not get too frustrated? Maybe might just be me.
Very specific, but that has happened.
I feel like everybody does that when they get frustrated.
Yeah, I'll draw just a little like, oh, I'm like, oh, I can't do this, so I'll draw just the worst version of that I can, and then go walk away. And when I come back, I'll be like, that looks horrible. Let's fix this.
I'll do that with drawing sometimes, or not drawing, writing sometimes. If I can't come up with a decent line for something, I'll be like, and then he said pee pee poo butt, and then I'll just close it.
It works. Oh crap! I totally forgot. Half of this was coming up with outfits for everyone. We're gonna be here all night. I suck at coming up with outfits. Okay.
Let me see. Do we have any new questions?
Bashcat sent me a duck on Discord and said, "Sorry, wrong person."
Roughly, what's Sandra's kill count? Allegedly one.
Is there any others? Hold on, let me think. I don't think so. I think just
she knew that guy who could get her a guns, which implies that maybe she had a couple.
right.
She murked somebody else at some point, but
not only do I have to think about what it actually is, I have to think about what it is in relation to what everybody else knows right now. So.
I want to say right now, allegedly one is the merc count.
There you go. Ooh, okay. Clothes for Sandra. Because right now she's naked, like every time, all the time. She's always naked.
About like a baseball tee.
Oh, I want to save that for someone else. I think
that's fair.
This is a commission for Michael from the Discord server, and he says everybody needs to be in outfits that fit their personality.
To be fair, baseball tee feels like a Daisy thing.
It does, yeah. I think I'll just put her in like a kind of ratty looking tank top.
Yeah, ratty looking tank top seems to be her style.
She
let me see. I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but will people stop hating Daisy anytime soon? Say nothing if they are spoilers. Do you mean like the community, or do you talking about the people in the comic?
Yeah, I mean, I don't write anybody to make people hate them. I mean, the whole.
I mean, except for that one guy who Scott just made the deal with.
Oh, I like Tony.
You like Tony?
He's a lot of fun to write. And people are distrusting of him now, but he'll be around for a little while, so maybe they might turn around on him. You don't know. Never know. I think they're just distrusting of him because he's a new character and he's giving an opportunity that could result in positivity, and people are generally distrusting of that in the story.
I mean, I'm mostly distrustful of him because he looks like a used car salesman.
Well, I mean, that's not entirely incorrect.
Let's see.
But I'm
what up? Vintage from Insta. I don't know what that means. So.
Oh, I think I know who that is. What's up, man? But does he have a question?
No, he doesn't.
Well,
I imagine I will hate him if he tries to be any more happy. Okay. I mean, that's most people, so.
Well, yeah.
What's up, Brian? I'll be on in a bit. I think people are thinking that this is a VC and not
a Q&A.
Not a Q&A. Not a Q&A. Yeah, just for anybody from the Discord, this isn't a VC. Like, this is just us.
Yeah, he's the editor, so he's allowed to be here.
Yeah, plus Brian just here occasionally looking at the chat would probably be a little bit dull.
Oh yeah, I'd probably get too engrossed in the drawing and never look at the chat.
Oh, most definitely. I can only imagine. Like that's me when I code. Like I just don't look at anything else. Had my girlfriend call me because she texted me and like 45 minutes went by. I didn't answer her and she was like, "I thought you were dead." I was like, "No." is best girl in Persona 5 and why is it Bakoto? Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we're gonna skip over that because they're not gonna like my answer.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna like either of our answers. Do you dislike drawing hands?
Uh, Hands in general, they take a little while to get a good one, but I don't dislike it. Is that because everybody's hands are hidden so far? Because there's lots of hands here. So I mean, don't worry.
I had a friend who learned from an animation major some way to like sketch out hands real quick, and she got really good at it. So,
So where
I guess there's a method.
where you draw the weird boxes around everything.
Yeah, that shit. At least I think it was something like that.
I ain't about that. Most of I drew a sketch for this, which is not common. I drew a sketch just so I wouldn't waste time because I had to. This is a commission, so I had to be like, hey, is this good? Can I go ahead and draw this? Most of it is I just draw with the ink pen tool on my art program. So like,
okay, here's a decent question. What is your favorite fan theory for Murdoch's arm being gone?
I don't think I've heard a whole lot of fan theories. The ones I've heard are very general, like, oh, it was because of Sandra, or oh, because of Teddy, but they don't really give any details.
Wait a second. How has Teddy caused his arm to be missing?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's a lot of people think. I have not heard any fan theories. Like in the most recent 300, people had a lot of predictions about what they think is going to happen, and I have not heard any predictions that are, to put it kindly, anywhere near close to being correct. So.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, to be fair, it's got to be a real unique situation that made you lose an arm, so it's probably hard to be accurate in this case.
Right. Yeah, most of the predictions were not very correct, which is probably a good thing. People aren't able to predict what's happening.
I mean, I've said he lost it due to a lot of heroin, arming the homeless, robotics, and a lot of prison fights. If it was robotics, wouldn't he have the robot arm?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Homeless. If so, that just went real bad for him. Weaponizing the homeless. That makes more sense.
Somebody called it his hobo something army, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever. I don't remember what the full name was, but they called it his hobo something army. It's so funny. I wish I could remember it because that made me bust a gut, I swear.
I remember the hobo. I remember the hobo army. I just don't remember what the second word was.
The middle adjective was, yeah, but it was funny.
Hobo robot army.
No spoilers, man.
It was Scott funding the robotics. That's why he went under. Now, there's a lot of reasons Scott went under, and funding robotics is not the reason why.
As far as you know, you don't have the whole story. You just have most of it.
I just have most of the story. That's true. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine funding robotics. He barely knows how to make telecom work. God, how's he gonna find a robotics guy?
Oh yeah, Basics Telecoms. They offer security, like security cameras and stuff. He does not offer that, so he can't even do that, right?
He doesn't even offer security cameras and stuff.
Nope.
I forget telecoms always provide that too.
Yep. So not Bailey though.
Not Jupiter Bailey.
You never know. Jupiter Bailey might finally pony up and start offering the surveillance. You never know.
Start offering surveillance cameras.
Do we have Scott looking at Sandra or over at Amber, or back at Paul?
Probably looking at Amber because he's always worried about her.
Allegedly.
It's true. That's true. It's always allegedly. Why is Paul here?
That's just that Michael wanted Paul there. He gave me a character list, and Paul was among them.
Michael must be Paul's only fan.
Paul's very popular in the Discord for some reason.
He's popular in the Discord. I think ironically, is he popular outside the Discord?
Well, just because he's real nice, I guess. But back to the question about the community ever affecting the story. That whole bit about Scott doing tabletop gaming after hours, that was inspired by someone in the Discord. Like, they said that was their fan headcanon or something, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine, I can do that.
That makes sense. Does Scott shave his beard to look like a goatee, or does it grow like that?
It's just there's nothing going on over there. I mean, considering in the comic now he's got some sideburns growing in, so it's a safe bet to say he shaves it.
Okay, let's see. How long do you typically spend on drawing an episode of ProChi from start to finish?
Start to finish can be anywhere between 5 and 7 hours usually. That's not counting writing it, which usually takes about 30-45 minutes.
It sounds really bad when you say it out loud.
That's mostly just because I write it first thing in the morning, and I'm like, oh, what's going on Facebook? Oh, what's going on with my YouTube? So...
with my YouTube subscribers.
All 107 of them or something like that. I don't know.
108 currently.
I should probably do something with this YouTube channel because it's got more followers than my actual YouTube has, which I haven't posted in like over a year and a half. So.
But you had a separate Brian ELlis YouTube channel?
Since 2006, I have, yeah.
Boy.
I got up to 2,000 subscribers because I uploaded a bunch of anime movies back in 2010.
Man, that's a bold strategy.
Yep, and then they all got removed, and people are like, "Can you re-upload those?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna do gameplay videos now." But a lot of them stuck around for some reason. I still have like almost a little over 2,000 subscribers on that account.
Because they didn't get purged at some point.
I guess. Because, like, I've uploaded since then. It's like, after a year and a half, it's like 12 views on that video. So.
Let me see. Any movies you guys plan on seeing?
I got my tickets for the Avengers Endgame. I'm very hyped for that. I'm a huge Marvel nerd.
I do not give any amount of shit about superhero movies, so
yeah. So we got
have to play solo on that one.
We got the whole spectrum here.
I'm not really planning on seeing any movies recently. I recently went and saw a chick flick with a friend that was pretty good.
The movie was called Chick Flick.
It was called Female Film, but no. It's called 5 Feet Apart. It's about kids with cystic fibrosis. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's when your lungs produce excess mucus and you like slowly drown in your own mucus.
Ooh.
But there's stuff you can do clearly because they're not dead and they're like 17, so you know. It's a whole thing. It's basically The Fault in Our Stars, but with a different disease.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like The Fault in Our Stars with a different disease.
Yeah, basically. It's basically all it is. Besides Sandra, do the other members have a non-spoiler addiction? Well, if you don't know that, then clearly it's a spoiler at this point. But,
Daisy...
I mean, Scott's addicted to failure, but...
Daisy's addicted to babysitting.
Daisy's just addicted to like just needs other people.
Yeah, that got really sad. Okay,
it's just Daisy though.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think anybody else has any like currently known addictions.
Any amount of them could be addicted to caffeine because I figure most people are addicted to caffeine at some level. That's kind of easy, but
yeah, this is true.
Let's see. I mean, Dylan could very well have a gaming addiction, I suppose.
He does.
I mean, what else? That's pretty much all he does, so it makes sense, I think.
And he made apparently $10,000 from it.
I had the idea that, like, the fact that he's too scared to touch his money becomes a meme on his stream, so everyone just keeps like donating more money, so he can't do anything with it
until he finally gets arrested for tax fraud.
Yeah. No, I mean, the second the IRS finds out about that money, he's going to jail for tax fraud for a long time.
Is it tax fraud if you don't know what to do with it?
It's technically, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, as far as I'm aware, he has the money and it's not reported.
I'm just wondering though, like if the IRS showed up and he was just like, "Hey, I wanted to like I wanted to claim this, but I couldn't, so please help."
He'd probably be audited, I imagine.
Some lady would just sit down and be like, "So how exactly did you come into contact with this money?"
Then they'd report him to the police under suspicion of distributing or something like that.
It's distributing sick gaming videos.
and merchandise.
Let's see. I think we have some more questions, so
right. Hit me.
What do y'all think of chihuahuas? Demonic, deformed creatures, or angelic, tiny-faced cuties? I own a chihuahua, so that's cool.
Little both. I love them, but they are little brats sometimes.
I think it depends on if you get a purebred chihuahua, they're pretty bad. You have to get mixed breed chihuahuas.
Oh yeah, like if you can mix a chihuahua with a Pomeranian, I don't think you could find a cuter dog in that, in my opinion.
I know. I have one that's mixed with an Italian Greyhound, and she's very cute.
Italian, yeah. Iggy's are pretty cute, yeah. I couldn't remember the name. I wanted to sound like I know things.
Iggy. With Wildflower, can we get a spinoff where Murdoch and Dylan survive in jail together? That's assuming Murdoch lives to the end of the story, so...
Ooh. That's assuming Dylan makes it to the end of the story.
Big oof.
A lot of people seem to be, like, concerned that he wasn't on the cover I made for Volume 4. I'm like,
I think it's just because, I don't know, putting a teenage boy in that situation just seems off.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a major character, so he does. I mean, he's a main supporting character, if that makes any sense. Like,
yeah, no, he's not all that important. He only shows up sometimes.
Yeah, he was gone for most of the first half of Volume 4 or Volume 3. He didn't show up until Daisy needed him.
So he's just not all that important yet. Maybe soon, but not quite yet.
Can't say. Oh, my dog's bugging me.
Brian, do you know any jokes?
My life. Yes. Hold on, let me think of one that I can say around the children. What did the daddy bullet say to the mother bullet? No. Oh God. Never mind. We're gonna have a BB. Shut up.
Oh
See,
no.
I'm a writer, not necessarily a storyteller.
Not a comic.
I did some stand-up comedy in my day and ruined it the entire time.
You could be like Joe Rogan, and just the only way you're a stand-up comedian is that you mention it every time you talk to somebody else. Every time he has another comedian on a show, that's all he'll be like, yeah, you know, comics like us, and I'm just like, we get it, Joe.
And then something DMT.
Something DMT. I do love that one meme where it's like a guy getting like a drink poured down his throat, and the guy pouring the drink is labeled the deep state, and the guy like the drink getting poured down the throat is labeled DMT, and the guy's Joe Rogan.
Oh jeez. I'm gonna do what I'm not supposed to do, and I'm gonna get up for a second and give my dog a treat, even though she didn't do anything to deserve one, because I really need her to leave me alone right now. So I'll be back in like 15 seconds.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, go.
Well, guys, y'all got any more questions? Ask your heart out. We're here for like another hour. get this bread. Indeed, let's get this bread. Rye bread, please. I prefer rye as well. Rye or oh, nice. I just like dark breads, very dark breads.
I noticed that she was out of water, so now I feel like a real dick.
Sometimes you just don't notice. I don't always notice my cat's litter box is like full of, the things he does.
She's begging at me. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop it. You cannot have treats right now. And she's just like, please, I'm so thirsty. And I'm just like, shut up.
Can I have the basic sustenance of life, please, sir?
All right, did I miss anything while I was gone?
No, not really. Is Daisy gay? No.
Ambiguous.
Also, that was a joke.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a joke from our man Tippy Tog.
Oh, okay. That's up, Tippy.
Any guilty pleasures?
Most of mine. Oh, I think. Well, you go first, maybe. Maybe I'll jog my memory if you got any.
Guilty pleasures. I love one. I love bad movies.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I like those ironically, I guess. I like them because they're funny. Maybe that's not a guilty pleasure. It's something that I feel bad that I unironically like. I unironically like K-dramas.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty shame.
Korean dramas. It's really bad, but they're just part. I mean, some of it's ironic because sometimes they're funny as hell, but sometimes I'm just like, oh my god, the plot is so deep. It's not. It's deep.
Really adorable slice of life anime, I guess.
It's just K-On! If you only like one, does that count?
I also like Toradora a lot. I like that one.
Fair.
And I guess that's all that's come to mind right now. I'm pretty sure there's other ones I like though. But
maybe they'll come back to you.
Could be. School Rumble, but that's more of a comedy than slice of life. Lucky Star I like a lot, actually.
School Rumble, the one where is School Rumble the one that's like really shitty, terrible animation, and it's like supposed to be a joke?
I don't think so. It's pretty competently animated, I think.
I know of a similar, like a school-based anime that was literally made on like a budget of like $1,000, and it's really bad. But it's purposely bad.
Shin-Chan? I don't know.
Be something like that. Anyway. Favorite food? Question mark.
I don't know if it's my favorite. It's the food I eat the most. I eat way too much pizza. like a worrisome amount of pizza. Because there's a Little Caesars by my house, and that's a whole day's worth of food for $5.
It's absolutely despicable. They would ruin the good name of pizza in this way.
I don't know. Maybe I just have a very unsophisticated palate, but I'm here for it.
That's fair.
I really like instant macaroni and cheese. I prefer that to any kind of professionally homemade macaroni and cheese. So
honestly, though, that's just like frankly, that's the only one that's worth getting. Just like Kraft. Kraft is fine. What is my favorite food? That's a good question. I really like sausage of just about any variety. I'm always down for sausage, even though I'm not supposed to eat it anymore. That's fine.
Dietary thing.
I'm trying the vegetarian thing with a varying amount of success.
I tried being vegan once, and then I'm like, oh no, I have a soy allergy.
If you have a soy allergy, vegan's really hard.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I guess I didn't even really want to do vegan that bad.
I've been trying it. So sometimes you break, but sausage, I'm always down for just about any kind too. I'm not picky.
I have a dachshund.
You have a dachshund. She's a schnauzage.
Schnauzage. Oh, she came down and started licking my feet like, thank you for giving me like basic thank you so much for this gift, Father.
For this gift from heaven.
Of this thing I need to survive.
If you had to make ProChi into a game, what kind of game would it be?
A rhythm dance game. But I don't know. It was originally going to be a side-scrolling action platformer, but
I don't know if you could say that about ProChi. You could say that about fucking Cosmic Girl,
which I imagine most people outside the Discord don't know about. But let's keep it that way. I
don't think anybody outside the Discord knows about that.
That's a whole can of worms that we are saving for the back of Volume 1, the book. So you'll have to read about it there.
Yes.
A visual novel,
I don't know.
I guess.
ProChi would make a decent visual novel, or make like imagine Persona, but without any of the actual bit, like just the slice of life bits.
Yeah. Some kind of life sim.
Yeah, like a really dull life sim. Maybe set in a place that's not rural fuck in Vermont. Nothing wrong with that as a setting, but just so there's more to do.
Well, I mean, Persona 4 gets away with it, so.
Does it though? Does it really? Persona 3 definitely did not manage to get away with that, which is unfortunate.
Still haven't played that one. I still gotta finish Persona 4. But I'm looking forward to it.
Favorite cheese?
I don't know. I'm lame, so probably just standard American cheese.
I thought you were gonna say instant of the craft variety.
Well, I didn't know that was an option. Then obviously, yeah.
I mean, it's technically cheese.
My favorite cheese is 4 cheese. That's the kind that comes on my frozen pizza.
My favorite are the 4 cheese blends that'll include like Parmesan, and then they'll include like ones from like Mexico, and I'm just like, that's not right.
That doesn't count. That's not a cheese anybody's heard of.
Okay, let me see. Are there any more questions? Yes, there are. There's a lot more.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Have you ever drawn anything that you regret that is ProChi related besides Maid Sandra?
I still don't regret Maid Sandra. That's one of my greatest accomplishments. I drew a safe for work Murdock that spawned the very not safe for work Murdock.
That's
the Murdoch with the Bowsette super crown.
Oh no.
I drew just a normal one that was just a normal Murdock because I thought it was funny, and then some bozo on Reddit, I think it was, went ahead and drew some very bad things, and I have not been able to get it out of my mind since.
I've never seen Not Safe for Work Murdet. I don't know if I want to.
Oh. Yeah. It's on the ProChi Extra Instagram.
The Not Safe for Work version?
It's technically just lewd, but it's not good for your soul to look at.
Here, let me see.
It's
Didn't you say the first piece of fan art you ever got was lewd, and you were just like, okay?
I think so. Was the first piece of Sandra fan art I got was lewd. Not fan art in general, though.
Oh, yeah. And somebody cosplayed Daisy at some point, didn't they?
Yeah. Jesse Valour on Instagram. That made me like super. I was talking about that for weeks afterward. That made my day.
I'm not surprised, because that's just like, we're not at the viewer count yet where you would expect that to happen.
Right. It's probably still not. That was before we blew up blew up comparatively on Instagram.
Let me see. Dads, I'm getting Daisy as Doctor. A lot of Daisy fan art. Everybody seemed to like Daisy back in the day.
I mean, yeah, back in the day. They all hate her now, which was completely opposite of what I was thinking. Like, A lot of people don't like Amber after that, but a lot more people than I expected are not liking Daisy anymore.
Okay, I found Murdat. The one, still no arm, which is
Super Crown won't grow your arm back. It should
I
be a
don't even
little bit
know.
after that. It has like a warning that says heads up, this is lewd or something like that.
Wow.
Did you see
Yeah,
it?
that's no good. I don't like this at all.
Especially the speech bubble.
Yeah, that's the part that
Like
I'm just gonna stop looking at that.
some thought went into that, you could tell.
You ever just drank water and go, damn?
Uh, is that a joke for like a dam, like DAM?
Oh, DAMN.
Oh, okay. So it's just a meme.
And I've done that before. Sometimes you just need some water.
Oh yeah, like you just drink and you're just like, whew. You ever drink and then you just how dehydrated you are hits you all at once and you just have to keep chugging. You can't stop yourself.
And your body's just like, oh, we're not gonna die today. Okay. Which community, Discord, Instagram, etc., is your favorite, Papa Ellis?
I mean, I
I
spent
feel
a
like
lot of time on the Discord, but Instagram is
like by default it has to be Discord.
it, Instagram is 20 times bigger than the next biggest audience. So
That is true, but on the other hand, you don't get people to talk to on Instagram.
that's true. A lot of people they talk to me, but it's not like a
Personal connection.
right. There's more like, "Hey, is Daisy gay?" And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm not gonna answer
Yeah.
this. I'm gonna I'm gonna upset somebody no matter what I answer. So if you want her to be gay, yeah, you go for it, man. Until it's important to the plot, leave that up to you.
Brian's favorite community is webtoons. Yes, it is webtoons.
Oof. I have a lot of problems with Webtoon, and surprisingly, very few of them are the community. That place is not nice to its creators.
That doesn't appear to be from what you've told me. Like
Um,
you have basically no control
yeah. I
over anything.
yeah, I had an episode get taken down for nudity, despite there not being any nudity. So I covered up the thing that could be considered nudity, and re-uploaded it, and Webtoon still wouldn't put it back up.
That's just I don't know what the fuck is their problem.
I don't know. And so I couldn't even re-upload it and put it back in the right order. Whenever you upload something, it automatically goes to the top of the list, and there's no way to reorder it. So I couldn't just re-upload it either. So what I ended up having to do is I went back to the previous episode before that and just tacked the episode on to the end of that one.
That's really stupid.
Yeah, so episode 77 is now 77 and 78. That was the best I could do.
I don't know why the hell they did that.
I sent them emails,
Yep.
and after weeks, I never got a response. So
You love putting Amber in turtlenecks, don't you?
it's just I feel like that's just her style, man. She I'm
No,
not
that's fair.
I'm really not good with clothing. I'm just really bad, especially women's clothing. I do not know what looks good in regards to
Yeah.
pretty much anything.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't particularly either. I guess it's all pretty basic and pretty standard. I mean, none of these people are particularly trendy.
That's true. Freya is a lot of. She can either be a lot of fun to design or very frustrating, because she is the one that's like the closest to being trendy.
Amber is very conservative, so what in her like dress sense, I guess so. She's just kind of lazy.
Yeah, she wears hoodies and stuff.
She's just one of those girls.
Imagine it's all hand me downs from her mom.
Me downs are from the local Goodwill.
She walks over there after school. It's like her mom didn't even take her.
Wait, is Amber holding a book? Yes.
Yes.
Slice of life anime beach episode for ProChi when? Not the worst idea.
Um, which cast of characters would you want that to follow? Because It's either Sandra or the little ones, and I'm not gonna do that.
That's true. I mean, I guess we're not that shameless here. People who write anime.
Right. Me and anime
what
have
art software do you use?
Clip Studio Paint. The
Just for interrupting, but Bashcats asked that question like 4 times, so I just wanted to make sure you got his answer.
Gotcha. Clip Studio Paint. I used to swear by it, but they keep making it worse and worse. So you might have to do your own research on that one.
Really, how's it gotten worse?
They just keep doing a lot of shady business practices that make things better for them, but don't necessarily help out the users.
Is this open source software, but like bullshit?
No, it's I don't know what the word is. It's
paid software.
Yeah, you buy it. It's like $50, but it's on sale a lot, and I think they're thinking of making it into a subscription model, like so they can copy Adobe. And if they do that, I'm not using it anymore because that's a horrible idea.
I would not even bother. Self-insert the physical copy of ProChi into Sandra's book. Wait, what? You mean Amber's book? I mean, that'd be... You also draw out Amber holding books a lot, I've noticed.
Well, she carries a book around a lot.
I've never understood the like, you see it a lot in movies and also drawings, but like girl with backpack holding one book in front of her like this.
Oh. Yeah, I don't understand.
You have a backpack.
The backpack.
Just put it in. Well, I always see it, and I'm just like, just put the book in your backpack. What are you doing?
Backpack now. There you go. You happy? I don't know. You probably won't see that for a good 10 seconds, but she had a backpack, and then I took it away.
There you go. No, it's just funny. I've noticed that in movies and books a lot. You'll see girl with backpack at a college campus walking around holding one book in front of her like this, and I'm like, put it in. You have this whole thing on your back for a reason.
Yeah, I think it just looks appealing.
Looks appealing. Makes them look, I don't know. Yes.
Bookish.
Bookish. My favorite are the really, really terrible ones from like Christian movies where it's the Bible. just hold that in front of yourself. Why don't you?
Specifically from God's Not Dead 2.
I'm pretty sure they did that. I watched God's Not Dead. It's awful. Anybody who loves bad movies, highly recommend. Amber's book. This is indeed Amber's book. I guess it could be her little notebook.
Oh, that's the intention.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. It's like her little notebook where she writes her poems.
Yeah, the guy who commissioned this said he more or less wants me to stay as to use Volume 1 designs. So we'll probably give her the purple book that got all torn up. But yeah, this one does not it's not stick around with Volume 1. There's no place in the timeline this picture could land, because we got long-haired Sandra, but we got Gus and Olivia, and we got Dylan and Daisy. It's a mess.
Yeah, no, there is no place in the timeline where this could happen. This is entirely made up.
This is entirely non-canon. This drawing. I mean, I need to see if Mike will be okay if I could use this for promotional art, because this ain't bad.
It is definitely not bad. Looks pretty good.
Well, thank you.
It's more because they left the class quickly to go somewhere, so it's easier to get out, and it lets you use them for character development, like holding it over your chest or open arms. I guess they're talking about the holding the book in front of you. I guess that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, there's some delay on the stream, so it makes sense that they would. But yeah, that does make sense, I suppose.
I guess that makes sense. I don't know. I feel like that's just writer laziness.
Writer laziness that makes sense is not writer laziness.
So I think a ProChi sitcom, but it's only uncomfortable laughter would be fun. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Oh, They're just not going to let her in. She's going to sleep out in the rain.
Oh no.
It's that gif from The Simpsons where it's just like a whole crowd of people all tugging at their collars, going. Ugh.
Or it's like it'd be like the exact opposite of what Full House was.
A lot of people laughing at unfunny jokes, so it'd be a lot of people not laughing at funny. Never mind, that doesn't work. But
well, no, it's just that Full House's entire thing is at the end of every episode, you had that stupid moment where
oh, everything's okay now.
like the music would start, especially the ones that were really sad, where like DJ would be acting out, and then Danny would be like, "DJ, what's going on?" And she'd be like, "Well, it's ever since Mom died," and like the music would start playing, and you're just like, "Oh, okay, we're going back to this." Okay,
we're gonna solve this, and Mom died, and I'm lonely, but you still have me. It's okay now.
I forgot about that one meme you made where it's Ben Shapiro looking at Volume 1 ProChi and going, "Wow, Sandra, you can't fit that whole gun in your mouth."
I don't remember what compelled me to do that, but it's probably one of my favorite creations. I think I like that more than ProChi itself.
I mean, it's really funny. Happy birthday, ProChi. I forgot about the ProChi birthday like promotional art. I
should have just scribble. It crossed my mind to scribble out ProChi and write Sandra and post that today. Because
maybe you should have just done that. What do you guys think of Sketchbook Pro? I'm not an artist, so I have no opinion.
I have no idea what that is. I think it's a program, but that's the beginning and end of my knowledge, so I'm afraid I can't offer more than that. Are we still on? Did my internet cut out? I'm paranoid of that happening.
No, we're still here. I'm just looking because the questions are very. I need more questions, guys. You need to give me more.
My internet's been fussy lately, so I'm paranoid about it cutting out.
And you did literally get like flooded like Noah in the Bible like a month ago, so you know. Didn't you say they were like rationing food at restaurants and shit?
Yeah. They're like my girlfriend went to Starbucks and wanted an extra pump of something or other, and they just wouldn't give it to her.
They're just like, no.
They're like, yeah, we can't do that. Sorry.
How long are we from physical copies of ProChi?
Oh, hopefully. I mean, I've thought we weren't very far away for quite a while, but I think we are for real, not very far off. I'm hoping by the end of this month. But
very cool indeed. So hopefully by like May we'll get some physical books.
It's September, I think.
Oh.
But no, I mean, I have to do it in my spare time, which I don't have a lot of spare time. So I'm doing my best.
That's fair.
I remember I saw a Facebook post where they're like, "Do we have physical copies ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, coming real soon." 38 weeks ago.
38 weeks ago. There's not a whole lot you can do. It's not your fault. Let me see. What time is it where you are? And don't just say location. But it's 9:25 in New York. It's 9:25 here.
It is 8:26 in Chicago. It is 8:26 here. Oh, did they say their time? And that's why you said New York?
Yeah, I'm guessing they're in New York. They're in New York City currently, or maybe I guess New York. I guess New York State is a thing. I sometimes forget people live there.
I just use the Chicago because that's what, like, when you're setting up your time zone on a website, they're like, "Do you want Chicago time?"
Just like, yeah, I guess that's technically where I live.
Right. So for some reason I was like, I don't know why he said it like that, but I'll say it like that too.
I really want to start a comic about some characters I've been working on for like 4+ years. Any advice on starting a comic?
Start that comic.
Just do it.
I mean, if it's your first comic, I started my first comic in 2011, and you haven't heard of it, so that tells you what you should probably expect from your first comic. but it's important to get that out of the way. If you want to save those characters for something when you're a little bit more refined, then maybe do that. But if you want to jump straight in with these other characters, I mean, nothing.
You could also just start it with the characters you like, and then just retcon this and start it over again.
Yeah, like I have done with.
No one's gonna rate it. No one's gonna know. So you could always just do that. But I mean, I've never done a comic, but I've had a creative. I'm a creative sort, so just do it.
Yeah.
The more practice you get, the better you'll be at it.
You got to. Oh my gosh, you should see my. I tried drawing a graphic novel series, 2011. Going back to that is, I was like, how did I ever expect to make a future with this? So.
You'll get better at it, and also as you produce stuff, your name will get out there, and people will start to recognize you.
Why are you're giving much better advice to this question than I am. So listen to Nick over here.
No, I'm just as your name gets out there, because surprisingly enough, a lot of the people who read weird obscure comics on places like Instagram are artists.
Oh yeah, I've noticed.
Sometimes they'll bump you. So
the Problem Child has a lot of fans that are artists themselves. I honestly think it's very comic creators comic, if that makes sense. It's a comic that mostly other creators enjoy.
Comic for people that like to make things.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes sense. So yeah, that's I think decent advice. I mean, I meant you didn't have to say your location, but Chicago sounds nice. Brian doesn't live in Chicago.
I do not.
Just Chicago time is like Midwest time. Brian lives in not Chicago. Pretty much the exact opposite of Chicago, in fact.
In my defense, it's eastern Nebraska, which means it's not all corn, just mostly corn.
It's mostly corn. I can't say too much. If you go like 5 minutes outside where I am, it's just fucking cornfields.
In Pennsylvania?
Corn and soybeans. The other big one being soybeans.
Oh, I can't eat those. I don't know. Soy allergies, that mean soybeans?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only kind of soy there is, as far as I know.
Okay. All I know is my doctor told me I have a soy allergy.
I know, we mostly use them to feed cattle.
Cattle?
Yeah, they feed cows soybeans and corn.
It feels like that's something people would get upset online about if they heard. Because
that's mostly what cows eat. I don't understand a lot of people think cows are grass-fed. No, they're not.
For some reason, I'm reminded of those people who try to make their cats and dogs vegan.
I don't understand those people.
I think that could count as animal abuse.
I know your cat's not a vegetarian. Your cat has to eat meat. They're carnivores, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, actually, I'm considering studying abroad in Europe, and if I do, that's gonna be real. It's gonna be real hard to do this. So different.
I mean, I usually finish these episodes like 11 o'clock at night anyway, so.
I guess no big deal. I could just do it when I get up. I'm just gonna be like, okay, here, I'll read this as soon as I'm back from the Arc de Triomphe. No, I'm not going to. If I do go, I'm not going to France, so I probably wouldn't go there.
I was like, isn't that the thing from Indiana Jones?
Go to the Arc de Triomphe. Are you talking about the Ark of the Covenant? That's the thing from the Bible. That's the thing from the Bible.
I grew up in a Christian home, but I only knew the Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones.
To be fair, it's mentioned in the Old Testament a lot, and a lot of American Christians are very, very weird about the Old Testament in ways I don't understand. I was raised Catholic, and so we were just like, yeah, that's the Bible too.
I thought the New Testament was the Bible too. Old Testament's Bible 1, and then the sequel is the New Testament.
It's like Revenge of the Sith and the original trilogy.
There you go.
Buying them in the first place. The ProChi characters. This is a commission for Michael Tippy. Michael paid God knows how much money for this like 3 months ago.
Yeah. I think it was. I probably shouldn't say that's personal information.
Yeah, that's personal information. But yeah, he paid for this some time ago. So
I remember we were having some confusion figuring out what the price was. So he just gave way more than he should have.
Yeah. So that's what this is.
Yeah. So I'll say that much.
How much would you need to somehow fit a trap character into ProChi? I feel like we could just do that without the monetary incentive.
Yeah, I think Daisy is a trap actually. That's the whole. Be a whole twist.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too opposed to having a character like that in ProChi. I think it'd be interesting to have a person like that in a story like this.
It would be. I have no idea how to write someone like that, so.
That would be the single biggest problem. That would require some research. Be cool though. I don't know. I feel like this is the kind of comic for that. One of my favorite comics, LGBT characters, and it's from like each part of the acronym.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is that? Was there more?
Oh no, that's just an example of
okay.
a comic like that.
Gotcha.
I tend to overwrite comic/series ideas and never finish them because I have too many ideas. What should I do without cutting the plot, lore/development, or am I doing too much? Okay. Cut the plot, lore/development. Like, just I'm being straight with you. Or it doesn't count.
You're cutting out a whole bunch. I can't hear anything you're saying.
No, wait here.
Hello?
Is that better?
Okay, yeah, you're good.
Okay. So the person said, I tend to overwrite comic/series ideas and I never finish them because I have too many ideas. What should I do without cutting the plot/lore/development? Or am I doing too much?
Cut, yeah.
I just cut. Like if you're not writing it, it doesn't count.
Yep.
You can have as much lore as you want, but if it's not actually happening in like a plot in some way, it's you're not. It doesn't count. So just write, and if it doesn't fit, get rid of it.
Exactly.
Because honestly, a lot of people focus really heavy on lore, because like a lot of lore-heavy stories, when they're done well, can be really good. The only problem is, it's really hard to do that unless you have a really clear idea of what you want the story to be.
Oh yeah, like where most of Problem Child happened before the story started.
Yeah. So you have to really have a clear idea of what it is you're doing if you're gonna have like a really lore-heavy story.
Oh yeah, the lore-heavy. You got to plan out everything ahead, but also planning out everything ahead you can get tied up, I guess. You're doing a much better job at explaining this than I am. You go ahead.
Yeah, no, because the problem is you end up tying yourself up in like worry about this and this and that, and but everything has to be perfect. Basically, it comes down to a problem of perfectionism. Don't worry about perfect. No creative work, including, the nerd holy grails like Star Wars and the Lord of the Rings, are perfect.
Absolutely not.
They're not, so it's fine. It's okay to be imperfect.
Better finished than perfect.
This is true. Figure out what exactly thing you're writing and focus on that instead, because it'll come out as you write.
I feel like this has turned into an advice stream, which I don't have a problem with.
Yeah, a lot of people have problems with this, and
which is actually the preferred way of handling that, because people would ask this a whole lot back when I did Instagram story Q&As, and I was just like, I'd like to answer that, but that's just too much text for one reply.
Question.
So I'm like, I guess I have to skip that one. So yeah.
People don't want to care unless you give them a reason to care. Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
To care about the thing you're doing, you're offering the reader something, whatever it is, about your story. So you need to show them exactly what it is. Bring them.
Exactly.
Okay, better question. Which characters had/have a pet rock? I feel like Daisy had a pet rock at some point.
She did, but she did it ironically, unironically.
Ironically, unironically. Sort of like how some people start using slang ironically, and then it just becomes part of their vocabulary.
Exactly. So she like started out like, huh, I have a pet rock, isn't that wacky? And now she's like emotionally attached to it.
I saw another one about Daisy. Let me see if I can find it. Because I remember reading it and I was very perplexed by it.
Um,
Um,
there's a bit of Daisy lore that I don't know if I'll be able to fit into the story, or maybe I should keep quiet on that in case I do fit it in.
yeah, I would say go ahead. Just then
Go
it'll be a
ahead.
little surprise for the people that are here.
All six of you. Um, Daisy has doggy, so she will have someone who will love her, like like someone who will depend on her like she wants.
So it's like a she's like the he's like her need object.
Right.
Or that totally makes sense with her character.
It's funny because I feel like because that was I introduced doggy relatively early, and I kind of feel like I was still kind of feeling out Daisy's character at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't remember if I wrote doggy with that purpose, but feel like I did. Never mind. Yeah, just next question.
That makes sense. Did Daisy have someone teach her how to fight, or is it all experience? I don't know if Daisy knows how to fight.
Yeah, she just knows how to swing her fists.
And she probably knows some. I think you said before she knows some like basic boxing
Oh
technique.
yeah, I mean her dad uses that thing to work out, so I imagine she was. One day she's like, "How do you use this, Dad?" And he's like, "Well, I'll show you, honey."
Taught
And
her how to punch a little bit though.
yeah, you know, keep your knees bent, swing with the hips.
Yeah, Daisy X Dylan is a much more better ship than Amber X Daisy, in my opinion. Well, I mean, one of those is actually real, so yeah.
Is Daisy X Dylan real, or is the other one?
I mean, they met up in that the rainy sequence. I would imagine they are at this point, or at
Oh,
least or at least possibly are going to be.
I mean, suppose it's possible.
We'll ship Daisy and Dylan. I guess they do now.
Oh yeah, I mean there was some before, but it's a lot more. It's a lot more prevalent after 299.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That would be the moment, I guess, where that would happen. I guess in this picture, they're like looking at each other. So,
Oh yeah, I mean they buds.
Doggy's gender is non-disclosed. How dare you assume it's a man? I'm pretty sure Doggy's a boy.
I think Daisy assumes it's a boy.
She probably has no idea now that I think about it.
Yeah, you have to get a bird's DNA tested to know what their gender is.
Really?
Yeah, because they don't have any outward signs of it, and I imagine she wouldn't want to bother with that, so she probably just picked a gender and rolled with it.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't make a difference in that case.
Yeah, I mean unless you're breeding them, I don't think there's any notable differences
Uh,
there.
Least favorite character in ProChi.
Uh, I don't. I don't know. I wrote them all. I'm sympathetic towards all of them, so I don't really have a least. Some people would say Daisy, but
I feel like Daisy gets an unneeded amount of shit, frankly.
mostly lately. I mean, I think it's just for me. It's like, oh, they spent like most of the comic worshiping her, so this is kind of just evening it out. I don't know.
I just hope it eventually goes back to neutral, because right now we're just stuck in like a position where I'm just like, man, I just want to make people like Daisy a little bit.
She's I don't really try to make people unlikable. I try to make them pitiable. Is that the word? Is that a word?
Pitiable's a word.
Yeah, like I mean, if you dislike them, you mean I can't do it perfectly every time, and the writing's gonna jive differently with different people. But I don't think you're supposed to necessarily dislike anyone. I don't write anybody for the purpose of making them disliked. Except maybe Gus's dad, but I have a lot of fun writing him.
That's maybe Gus's
dad. He's kind of I mean, for him I'm kind of going for like a lovable asshole, like the someone's like very conservative father that's a huge asshole, but he can play with the boys too.
I'm just imagining the kind of guy who like is really into grilling.
Exactly, there you go. Like every time there's a nice day, he's like, "This smells like a barbecue," and everyone's like, "There's no barbecue," but he wants it so badly that he's like, "I can smell it."
He's definitely the kind of guy who keeps just bags and bags of like charcoal in the basement on the off chance he gets to barbecue. Maybe because he does it a lot. He just buys it whenever he goes on sale, just in case.
Oh yeah, yep.
Let me see. I think someone asked some more questions. Yeah, I found ProChi when Daisy was really getting shown off, but I still respect her. Are you talking like shown off as in people stopped liking her, or like when she was really relevant to the story?
I think like I assume they mean like late volume 1, where she was just an angel who was just helping Amber, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, she's such a wonderful person."
And to be fair, back then, very little other context.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't blame everybody. Like on webcomics right now, it's we're on episode 83, around the time where Desmond he shows up. So Daisy's still a saint as far as they're concerned. And I'm just
I mean, at that time, there's really no other like context to put her in, so it's the only thing you can assume, really.
Right. I just kind of cringe sometimes, not in the sense that I don't like their comments, but I'm just like, "Oh, you guys you got a big storm coming, buddy."
Okay, let me really say.
Although some of their shipping comments can get pretty disturbing over there.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Gus's dad has offered Dylan a beer with the boys multiple times, and he has declined every time. Yeah, probably.
He's probably expecting him to decline. Like, if he says yes, he's gonna get in trouble.
Ooh, is that Dej?
Oh, what's going on?
Some guy said Sandra's behind is what got him attracted to ProChi.
Oh Lord, that's probably Dej, former Discord member.
It says Tippy Tug Productions. Is that you, Tippy, or is that Dej? Incognito. Let me see. Still like Daisy, but I hate Amber now. Big oof.
Yeah, it was either one or the other. I don't think anybody made it out of that. It feels like nobody made it out of that, still liking both characters.
I don't particularly see how anybody can hate Amber after that sequence. I mean, she was maybe a little. I mean, that sequence was written for her to be a little mean to Daisy, but I feel like on the whole she was pretty.
She could have been a lot meaner,
given what happened, and given Daisy's weird need. Because I mean, that's the other thing a lot of people don't consider. It's got to be a little freaky. Just like wants you to need them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even people who one thing I often forget about is like people who don't think the Notebook is a big deal, which I mean, okay, if not that, but also when Amber first went into the hospital, she's like, "Where's my dad?" He's like, "Oh, he left." When she was the one that like bullied him into going.
Yeah, it's true. Although I will, I do have to give it to Daisy in that sequence. That was one of the times where I was just like, yeah, no, you're right though.
I'm not saying she wasn't right, but Daisy,
yeah,
you could have said he went to go talk to your mother.
Went to go confront the Chi Beast. Um. Okay, so Tippy, that is Tippy. He was joking about the butt thing. Although he did say the first episode he saw was one with Sandra's butt in it. So okay.
Maybe the new episode 2. I don't know. I don't think her butt's ever super prominently front and center, like, other than the first panel of episode 2.
Brian, do you like cereal?
I fucking love cereal, dude.
I'm on the opposite end of this. I don't hate cereal, but I'm just not a fan personally.
Give me a Apple Jacks, dude. I'm a happy, happy boy.
Of all the fucking defunct 90s cereals, of course it would be Apple Jacks.
Are they not around anymore?
I'm pretty sure they are, but who the fuck still buy? Let me quick see. Is Apple Jack still around? Spelled with a K. No, it's not. No, Apple Jacks is still around.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't been able to eat cereal just because that requires having dishes and milk, which requires buying dishes and milk.
This crunchy 3-grain cereal is sweetened with cinnamon and apple.
Yeah, man.
Out of real apple and Apple Jacks.
I'm trying to figure out on the drawing what is covering Dylan's arm here because I erased all the intersecting.
Looks like Gus's foot.
What
is that?
What is?
I think you just added that. I don't think that belongs to anybody.
Oh, that's Freya's foot. Okay, okay.
Are we sure about that?
I'm pretty sure because it curves like that, and you won't be able to see it for. But,
oh wait, it's like her leg. Like her leg is like bent inward.
Yeah, she got like a foot popping thing going on, but I don't
like
think
a bow.
I don't think
she
that
got like
should,
a bow leg.
Yeah, something like that. I don't think that should be in front of Dylan's, so I'm gonna put his arm out front anyway. So.
You remember because you were around in the 90s? Do you remember that the colored ketchup that was like green and purple and shit?
I spent 15 years trying to forget it, and you just made me remember. So, our friendship has to endure this now.
Oh god, you're absolutely right because I fucking hate that shit. Like it's purple. Why do I want that in my body?
Right. Purple's not a naturally occurring color in nature, I don't imagine.
I mean, for flowers maybe, but you're not eating it.
Right.
Brian No Plates Ellis, indeed.
Oh, do I have to change my Discord name now? All right.
How tall are all the characters?
Hold on. I have this written down.
There's a size chart, isn't there?
Not a chart, but I have it written down. I should probably make a size chart just because that sounds like something I would do.
Because you've been asked this question enough times that I figured you would have written this down at some point.
It's actually in the FAQ on the ProChi Extra Instagram account. We got Amber 5'1" or 155 centimeters. Daisy and Sandra are both 5'6" or 167 centimeters. Gus is 6'1" or 185 centimeters. Scott is 5'11" or 180 centimeters. Dylan is 5'8" or 172 centimeters. Olivia's 5'7" or 170 centimeters, and Murdoch is 6'5" or 195 centimeters.
Okay. Everybody's height.
There you go. All the important characters.
I would not have thought the heights of the characters would be a frequently asked question. You would be surprised.
Right? Brian.
A lot of people want to know for some fucking reason.
Their weights is also a thing. I think that's also in the FAQ.
Didn't you make that one? Didn't you make like a weird thing or weird? But like, didn't you make a thing with Freya being like fat? Everyone thought Freya was fat.
It was a meme.
I mean, to be fair, out of all the characters, she is the one who looks the fattest for whatever reason.
Just because honestly I thought it'd be cuter because I don't. Maybe my type's just I don't like petite types, and most of the girls are petite. I'm not saying I'm making her to my tastes, but I find that more appealing.
Yeah. Brian Thick Ellis.
Oh, here goes. We gotta change that name in the Discord again. Is that with a K or with 2 C's?
Obviously 2 C's.
Thick, okay. Well, now we're just going full circle because my nickname in the Discord used to be the Thick Boy in Charge.
Thick Boy in Charge. I remember that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, yeah, I think she is the only main cast thick character. The
Yeah,
thinnest,
Sandra could be considered
or
thick.
she's more like thick in the actual sense of the word thick, where she's like she got like a thick butt. Like Freya just looks a little chubby.
Right. That's fair. Daisy's
The
just scrawny. Amber is
thin.
malnourished.
Feel like per the like the weight distribution on their body, the absolute thinnest has to be Olivia.
Think so? Let's see. She got some wide hips, but yeah, she's got a pretty modest bust, and she's pretty thin.
Yeah, I just
Else.
mean for her height. She's like Daisy's weight if you stretched it out over an even longer frame.
That's fair.
Any more questions? I see Brian is a man of taste as well. Yeah, true. In this case, if you consider taste thick. Just for some reason. Grapes are purple, naturally. That's true.
Some people would argue saying they're red.
I've also heard black.
I don't want to know what grapes you're eating.
I've never called them black, but I've seen them referred to as black grapes.
That's illegal.
Should be illegal, but apparently it's not. Sandra pours purple ketchup on her French fries. Is this true or double true? Definitely true.
She orders a whole bunch of new old stock of the it's still in the packaging, but it was never open from like the 90s. She orders a bunch of that on eBay.
I like to imagine that she only has it because she bought it back when it went out of fashion for like and she just uses it because she's just like, what? It's cheap.
I have it. Might as well.
Versus just like, can we get anything else? She's like, no.
Well, you can go buy anything else with that job that you have. Oh, wait.
Sandra throwing shade for working. She works as like a waitress.
When Scott pays all her bills, so the waitress money is all just play money and her phone bill because she won't use Scott's phones.
Brian Applejacks Ellis.
Oh, here we go again. Gotta change it.
If ProChi was remade or redubbed in another country, what would change?
Oh, I like that question.
Or if it were a Middle Eastern country, we'd have to put hijabs on everybody. That is a very good question. I feel like the biggest single difference would be they probably wouldn't live in a house.
Japanese, they'd all be wearing slippers a lot more often.
It's true. You'd see more bare feet when people were inside. That'd be a big one.
I think there's enough bare feet in Problem Child as it is. We got enough foot fetish people running around.
This is true. I think the single biggest difference I would say is that if this were set in any European country, Sandra would probably know how to cook. I'm just being legit. She'd probably just know from growing up in the culture. She'd probably just know how to cook like actual food.
Well, I mean, she was
whether she would.
Would 14-year-olds know how to cook?
Yeah, normally they get kids in on the cooking scene in like or pretty young.
Okay, so she'd have some cooking skill.
Maybe not necessarily like amazing, but she would probably at least have a rough idea how to throw together actual food.
Some gourmet shit. That's
gourmet shit.
I mean, who knows? She might actually know how to cook and just doesn't want to.
It's true. That could be a possibility. I just mean she would definitely, if this were any European thing, any European country.
She would make food for Amber and then just criticize her the entire meal. Just spend the entire the meal with food in her mouth, stuffing her face, and also just criticizing Amber.
She'd probably also be a wine drunk more so than a beer drunk.
Oh, probably. She's more of a whiskey drunk.
Yeah, that's true. She'd probably be wine, though, if it were any place in Southern Europe, because that's just what they drink over there. Mm-hmm. It's really cheap, too. And for, like, the equivalent of, like, $5 or $6 US a bottle.
All right, we're reaching 9 o'clock. I didn't want to go longer than 9, but I'm like not even close to being done here. So.
Do you want to go just like a little bit longer? Then we can maybe let you go to work.
Yeah, let's go to like 9 or the quarter of the hour. 10, 15 sure. For you.
Yeah, okay, we'll go to 10:15 and then we'll shut this off so you can continue. You can actually get some more work done.
Right.
Amber and Sandra would be assumed to be islanders in Japan, probably less of the hodgepodge they are now. Yeah, they'd probably be one of the minority groups in Japan, like Koreans or something.
I mean, Sandra is half islander.
Yeah, but she's like Samoan. I'm talking like it'd probably be one of the weird minorities that exists only in Japan.
Oh, that's fair.
New or some bullshit in the way north. They're like a weird subcultural group that only exists in the way north of Japan.
We talking about like Osaka?
Osaka's down south. I'm talking way the fuck up north.
Oh, I know. Like that was a joke about Osakans.
What is all the jokes about Osaka? I don't get it.
I don't know. I just watched Azumanga Daioh once, so I know there's stereotypes that they're all like loud jerks.
What is with that? They seem to hate Osakans, and I don't understand why.
I mean, Japanese people seem to they're like, all right, well, there's a group of people. What can we hate them for? Gotta find some reason to hate these people.
How can we be xenophobic today? That's the real question.
The question Japanese people ask themselves very often.
Let's see. And is Dylan going to hit Amber with his van to start flirting like in Cosmic Girl?
His van?
Dylan have a van?
He was in because Cosmic Girl took place in like this semi near future thing. Like it was
children could drive vans.
It was a self-driving car, and Amber kind of just veered right in front of his car with her bike, and then she's like, "Why did you hit me, you asshole?" And he's like, "This thing's got a whole lot of sensors, man. If it saw you coming, it would have stopped." And she's like, "No, this is clearly your fault, asshole."
Self-driving car.
She was a very different character.
Very clearly.
She was like people are saying she's a miniature Sandra now. You should fucking read the Cosmic Girl script, because, hoo boy.
Only one person in the Discord has read the Cosmic Girl script, and I don't think he's here.
Is Turst?
Yeah, Turst read the Cosmic Girl script, complete with all the shit that came with it.
Meme Lover, that guy you love getting in arguments with, he's read it too.
Has he?
He was my test reader.
Boy, Meme Lover.
He's a guy I kind of know in real life. We've met once or twice.
Really? Where did you meet him?
Back in like 2014, I put on a Pokemon tournament in my town, and he showed up.
Particularly to meet you, or just because he was there?
He wanted to participate in the tournament.
I didn't know there was much actual ProChi meetup material. Or like I didn't know that happened.
Oh, this is 2014, so. ProChi wasn't. I don't think Cosmic Girl was a thing by then.
So you just happened to meet him at some point.
I was putting on a Pokemon tournament, and I advertised it locally, and he came.
Don't make me at you in the Discord and start another argument, Nicholas. You can do that if you want, meme lover. Oh, you probs thought of this. If the book does get a print and it gets into a library, how would you handle the "this isn't for kids" dilemma, or is it just online? I say it is for kids.
It can be beneficial for kids to teach them about emotional intelligence and toxic relationships. But
so, no.
On the back, there's a warning that says this is not suitable for some readers.
I would disagree with the basis of your question. I would say this is perfect for children. I think kids, a lot of people give kids not enough credit.
That's true. I think, clearly there's a lot of kids that read Problem Child.
Yeah, surprisingly young readership.
Oh yeah. One time on the webtoon, I left a comment saying, "Reply to this with your age. I want to know just the basic readership." It was generally 12, 11 to 13-year-olds and a few 10-year-olds.
10-year-olds? Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if they can comprehend it, by all means, you go crazy.
That genuinely shocks me. Do we know what your age demographics on Instagram are?
Um, Imagine slightly older, but not drastically so.
Like we're talking 14 to maybe 16.
Yeah, that's probably pretty close. Still quite young, but there's a decent amount of there's some old people. I have like someone messaged me saying, "Oh, I'm a therapist, and you get this whole thing down perfectly," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. That's neat." So they're like, I just had to humble brag there for a second, but but yeah, all sorts of people. Generally aging a bit younger though on Instagram.
That kind of makes sense, frankly, given like what the comic is.
Oh yeah, that's the whole reason I'm starting to push Sandra as the main character, is because pushing Amber as the main character kind of. I don't think it's gonna stop anybody, but I think it gives off a child main character. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think part of it is just the fact that you made Amber so young. I feel like had she been like maybe 16 or 17, the audience would have skewed a little bit older, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I mean, I don't want any angry parents coming at me, but if they can enjoy this, if they enjoy the story, they get some out of it. I mean, I don't have anything wrong with it.
I mean, I do think it's important for kids to be exposed to these things because, frankly, you're gonna have to deal with it at some point.
Oh yeah, and
might as well live with it now.
If you're thrown into it with just without any experience, things can go bad pretty quick.
So I guess it's good to have at least a little bit of prior, what these things can be like. So that's a good thing, I would say.
Knowing what's healthy and unhealthy in a relationship.
At least having some basis to judge by.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, therapist approved ELlis.
I suppose so. It's funny because I got that message. It actually wasn't on. It was on Instagram, but that same person liked it on Facebook and tried to join the Problem Child Extra Facebook group. I'm like, oh no, this person's like 40 years old and a legit therapist. They're trying to join the group to see all the memes. This is not going to turn out well.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you should have let them. They should have seen the memes.
I mean, I accepted the request. I have not heard from them since. So
maybe they decided that was too much.
yeah, they're like, oh, I thought this was a smart guy. I was so wrong.
Are you going to put a self-portrait with oil paints if you write a biography? I mean, I don't know how interesting a biography of either of us would be, frankly.
Thank you for saying either with us. If you said it was just about me, I would have been a little hurt.
I'm just being quite frank. I don't know how interesting it'd be about either you or I. I don't think either of us have that much to talk about. I mean, you at least have the Jesus camp stuff, but
Oh yeah, no, I have a lot of potential. It's stuff I think is interesting. I don't know how interesting other people would find it, though, to be completely honest.
I don't know. I guess it would depend. I guess you could write like a David Sedaris kind of deal.
Honestly, I think I'm getting into a little psychotherapy here, but I think writing a autobiography is very good for determining what is wrong with you.
Yeah, I find any amount of writing about yourself, I'm just like, ew, gross.
It's very good for self-reflection, but I don't think it's something that should necessarily be shared with other people unless you do that from the outset and have that audience in mind as you write it.
I don't know. I'm just always I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it, I should say, but it's just my natural inclination whenever somebody's like, "Tell me about yourself." I'm just like, "No."
I feel that.
Not because there's anything particularly wrong with me, but I'm just like, gross. Why would it feels very what's the I mean, when I say it feels very like self-absorbed,
Egotistical, kind of. Like, why would
and
anybody care about this?
not even necessarily that, but I'm just like, it's like weird in my mind to like talk like people who talk a lot about themselves in my mind are I'm just like that's weird. Why are like I'm the least interesting person that I deal with on a daily basis because I know myself far too well.
I feel you absolutely. Whew. Oh.
Um, you consider going to a comic book convention? I mean, I think the goal is to eventually have our own convention, but
We joke about that sometimes. If I was invited, I would go no matter. Like, I don't care. It's like fucking if like comic convention, the non-copyright version of Comic Con, from Kalamazoo, wherever
non-copyright version of
comic convention in Kalamazoo, wherever Kalamazoo is. They're like, hey, you want to be a guest? I'd be like, I'm booking this plane ticket today. I can't afford this. I'm still going.
I would probably feel really good. You're just like, oh my god, somebody wants to talk to me.
Exactly. And they're like, you get there and they're just like, oh, we just wanted you to help set up some tables and stuff.
Okay. ProChi. Maybe ProChi one day.
One day,
maybe.
If we're halfway through the story, so if the audience doubles, I don't know what kind of growth to expect. But even if the audience doubles, I don't think we're popular enough to have a convention. But
yeah.
we can dream.
Maybe a booth at somebody else's convention.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, that's something to consider depending on how big the audience gets. But in the meantime,
I think we should wrap this up. Is that where you're going with that? If not, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Oh no, that's fine. I don't see any more particularly compelling questions.
All right. If you got any particularly compelling questions, you've been saving them for the last minute. This is the last minute.
Now's the time to do it. And we're gonna have to wait like 20 seconds to see if they come in.
All right. So in the meantime, let's talk about our traumatic experiences.
Oh boy, no. Really none of that. Booth at most cons? No. I mean, I think you can actually. Maybe. I don't know.
Wait, what was
Brian,
the question?
Just somebody saying something. Brian dreams of a convention, Ellis.
I can't fit that on Discord, actually. They only let you have 30 characters in my first and last names, plus 2 spaces, plus 2 quotation marks. It's already 14. So.
Oh, is that really how? Is it only 30? I didn't know that.
32, yeah.
Okay, that's
Not
surprisingly small.
Right? They know people would go overboard with those nicknames.
Okay, wait a second. Here we go. Here's one last question. Fine,
right.
I think
the finale.
Rainy singing an Easter egg of the Katawa Shoujo Rin neutral end scene.
Say that one more time. What?
I think he's talking about the Rainy scene with Dylan and Daisy. Is it an Easter egg? Katawa Shoujo Rin neutral end scene?
Oh, not intentionally. I can see the similarities though. In that spoilers, but it's kind of the opposite though. What's going on? The main character's like, oh, I like you a whole lot, and she's like, I have to leave. I'm leaving, and we can't be together anymore. Bye. So it's kind of the opposite of what's going on, but I can kind of see the similarities there.
I've never played Katawa Shoujo, so I have no idea.
It's free. You have no excuse.
Yeah,
except for having no interest. That's a perfectly valid excuse, I suppose.
I'll have to do it at some point. All right, no more questions. I'm not seeing any more particularly good ones.
All
so
right.
I guess this will be the point where we cut it off.
All right, thanks for coming, guys. You know, this wasn't that bad, so it won't be like a weekly thing, but we could probably do this more often.
Yeah, no, that'd be fine. I'd be fine with doing this more often, especially if we can announce it more so we can get like maybe a bigger list of questions.
Or if we can figure out how to do this on Instagram.
Yeah, that would probably be better. But anyway, let's stop making this go on.
All right. So long, everybody.
Yeah.
And